Hello, my name is Jackie Zevenbergen with the Cuyahoga Soil and Water Conservation District. I'm the Stormwater Education Program Manager for the district, and I'd like to talk to you today about our school programs. I can come into your school for free and do a variety of different programs with your students. That's one of our advantages, being able to come to you. It does take a little bit of planning, and you need to make those arrangements quite a ways in advance. But if you know what you're interested in, please give me a call and we'll find a time when I can come out to your school. We'll tailor the program to the age group that you're interested in. We have several models. One of the ones that we use the most is the Enviroscape. It's a watershed model. And usually I bring it out. I do a program for you the first time, and after you've watched the program and feel comfortable, then you can come in and borrow the Enviroscape. We'll talk more about our loan program later. Incredible Journey is another really important and interesting activity that we do from Project Wet. It's a very active lesson plan, and we bring all the materials in. It's about the water cycle. We can do macroinvertebrate programs. We have simulations, and I also have a lot of samples of macroinvertebrates to show your students. Our NUTS program is our newest program. That's native urban tree starters. And in that program, we have a whole video about it. It's a pretty interesting program, but basically you have a choice of different activities that your students can do, everything from collecting seeds all the way to planting trees. So please check out that video if you're interested, or give me a call. And many more. We have many school programs and a lot of things that we can tailor to your needs. In this video, you can see a couple of our models being used by students. In the bottom left-hand corner is the Enviroscape model at one of the schools in Cuyahoga County during a playground field day. And up in the top right, and those two pictures on the right, it was a field day for a school in Cleveland. You can see, I'm not sure, but I think you can see the lake in the background. And those are our erosion boxes. So once again, these are models and simulation tools that you can borrow. We can bring service learning to your school or to your students, or bring the students to us. If it's a community project, we just let you know and your students can join in if that's something that's required for their graduation. If it's a program that's custom made for you off campus, you need a memorandum of understanding so that we all know what we're doing and we're on the same page. And then we also, if it's off campus, require a small fee. We can talk about that if you are interested in these programs. If we do service learning on your campus, we do those programs for free, except for sometimes we need money for the materials. We try and get grants so that we can even bring the materials with us, but we'll let you know all of that up front with our memorandum of understanding. Here's a great example of one of the programs that we took to the school. This is a service learning opportunity for the students. In this case, it was the student council from one school and the honors students from another school. The students were from Columbus Elementary and Heskett Middle Schools, and we did plantings at both schools with the community. The mayor actually came out. That's him over in the corner right here. And he actually did a dedication for Arbor Day, and the kids planted quite a few trees. In that case, we had a grant for the trees, so we provided all of those free of charge to the school. Storm drain stenciling is another great activity for students. We can bring the stencils or they can make their own. You will have to purchase paint in order to do this and get permission for the stenciling. This is a great activity to do on a large school campus on your own property storm drains, or you can make arrangements with the city to do it on city property, public property, or perhaps in the streets. Now, it does require smaller groups. This is not a good project for 100 kids. This is something you would want to do with a club or one class, maybe two classes. If you did it on 2 different days or in places that were sort of spaced out, it does take a lot of supervision because you're using paint that's designed to stay in place. So it's not something you just want to give the kids a can of paint and let them go at it. But we can do wonderful things with the stenciling program. Another really fun service learning project is stream cleanups. We bring all the supplies. We bring out gloves and pickers and buckets and shovels, anything that the students would need. If you have a stream on your school, on the school property, we can come out and clean your stream with the students. We teach them about why stream cleanups are important, and it really gives them a good understanding of what kinds of things end up in the stream if they're not managed properly. In addition to the on-site, which is appropriate for some schools but not all, we have community cleanups, and we would be happy to let you know if your students are looking for service hours. Also, we can make arrangements with the community if you don't have a stream that's actually on your campus, but you want to take the kids on a field trip. We can do that with kids. We can combine it with other programming. Now, if we go off campus, once again, if we go off campus and it's not a regular community cleanup, then there would need to be a memorandum of understanding and a small fee. On site, on your school, that would be free. Planting a rain garden or a pollinator garden at your school can be great fun for your students. We can scale it up or down depending on the age of the students. Sometimes we get plants from grants or from some of our partners. If we know that a particular school is looking to put in a garden, we can set those plants aside for your school. Otherwise, you can purchase the plants, and our technical expertise and tools and all that stuff that we bring with us will be no charge if it's on your campus. Just like the other programs, there are ways that we can make arrangements to have your students do a field trip type of service learning where they install something like this at a park or other public space. You just need to let us know that that's what you would like to do. This is a great example of a service learning project that we did a few years ago. These students are primarily middle school age, 6th through 8th graders from Case Elementary, which is located within walking distance from our office. This is the lot across the street from our office, and we got permission to have the students install these gardens. This was so much fun. The students actually started out, this is an after-school group, so this was totally optional on their part, and they started out with just a handful of kids. We had maybe 5 kids the first day, and this was a 4-day project, and by the end we had over 20 kids because the kids that came the first day went back and told the other kids how much fun this was, and we just kept getting more and more each day. And it was really amazing. A lot of these kids had never dug in the dirt. They didn't even know how to use a shovel. And they did a phenomenal job. So this is what the garden looked like by the end of the summer. They installed the garden in May, and by August, it was in full bloom. And it is a perennial garden, so each year it comes up and the district weeds it. Our staff keeps the weeds out of it, and it's a beautiful thing for the kids to be able to come by and look at it whenever they want. This is an example of our partnerships with the schools for rain barrels. In the lower examples, this was a rain barrel art project that Orchard STEM Elementary School completed. We got them the barrels at a reduced cost. That's what we do for the schools. And they got their paint, and they formed teams of about 5 or 6 kids on a barrel. And they painted these, and then they auctioned them off for their school club. This was actually, I think, the engineering club. And then up in the upper right-hand corner is one of the high schools where the students worked with us to learn about rain barrels and how to conduct an actual workshop, and then they did their own workshop. They did the whole thing. So we can help your students learn how to do presentations. We have a couple of competitions and also a camp that helps prepare the students for the competition. So our biggest competition, as far as being open to the most different grade bands, is our K through 12 poster contest, and that is district to state to national. We take the top district winners in each of the 5 grade bands, send them on to state, and they pick winners at the state level to send on to the national competition. And then perhaps the biggest thing that almost all soil and water conservation districts participate in is the Envirothon. The Envirothon is an environmental science or natural resource competition. It's for grades 9 through 12, so high school students. We have training days. We raise money for transportation and substitutes, both for our training days and for the competition itself. We don't want to see anybody get cut out just because of transportation costs. The students compete in teams of 5, and each high school can have up to 2 teams. This is a regional, so we have 17 districts in the Northeast region of Ohio, to state to international competition. So the competition, the international competition, is held in the United States, and it is Canada, the United States, and China. Camp Canopy is our high school natural resources camp. It used to be called the Ohio Forestry and Wildlife Camp. It has an educational component with the forestry and wildlife, but it also has all the typical camp fun. It's held at Camp Muskingum, and the students have to be finished with 8th grade all the way through graduating seniors. So the year they graduate from high school, they can actually still go on to camp. And for those students that are preparing to go to college, they have a competition at the end of Camp Canopy where the students can compete for scholarships. As I said before, our poster contest is for K through 12. The kids compete in grade bands, and the theme changes every year. Typically, the theme is going to either be about habitat, water, soil, or trees. These are some pictures from our Area 2 Envirothon. This particular one a few years ago was held at the Cuyahoga County Fairgrounds. It was our turn to host. And at that Envirothon, the Brecksville Bees finished first. They weren't able to go to state that year, but just a few years later, they went on to the state competition. It's a great chance for kids to get out of the classroom, get into the field, and there are wonderful resources to help them study and prepare. Additionally, we have Envirothon training kits that you can take out, you can borrow them. The advisors can take them and train their students, or you can invite us in and we can do some training in addition to the training days that we have for the teams in Cuyahoga County, usually in the fall, but sometimes also in the spring. Most of the students that go to Camp Canopy do so on scholarships. The cost of the camp is $375 and we pay all but $25 of it. We want to get as many kids out there as possible, so we do try and raise money for the scholarships. And as I said before, this is a great opportunity for students that enjoy natural resources, walks in the woods, and then also the typical camp experience with high ropes and kayaking and archery and all the fun things and the fun memories that they can make. The district has loan kits and education materials for educators who live or work in Cuyahoga County. You've seen the Enviroscape and the erosion box examples. We also have a really cool model called the Streamulator. It takes a little bit of setup, but teachers can borrow it. It's actually a hydrology stream table. You can do all kinds of experiments with the kids and demonstrations, and we strongly recommend it. So just let us know. We have wildlife study kits. I can break them up into smaller kits if you want to do a PBL. We had a teacher do a PBL on white-tailed deer last year, and I put together really nice educational materials, so she had plenty of things to work with. We have skins and skulls and books and field guides, lots of great things. Envirothon training kits contain some wildlife materials, but they also contain forestry, aquatics, and soils. Both the guidebooks and manuals. We have a color book for the soils, and then we also have tools in those Envirothon training kits. And you can take a part of the training kit, or I can bring something out to your school, do a little work with your teams, and then leave the materials for you to borrow for a while. We have education materials like books and posters, and guidebooks and field guides. We also have curriculum guides that you can borrow. There are some curriculum guides that are only available to people that are certified, but we have some curriculum guides that are open to everyone. And those guides encompass, if you see a theme here, it's because we have certain topics that we focus on. They encompass wildlife materials, aquatics, forestry, and soils. Cuyahoga Soil and Water also offers teacher training and certification in many different curricula. Graduate credit is often offered through Ashland University or some of our other partners. We offer low-cost graduate credit. Environmental education curriculum is aligned to the standards. Many of them are automatically aligned to the NGSS, although the Project Wet, Wild, and Learning Tree, our state coordinators have worked with the Ohio Department of Education to align them to the Ohio state standards. So we can get you hooked up with curriculum that is going to help you meet those benchmarks. Often, having certification in these ODE sanction type of Project Wet, Project Wild, Project Learning Tree curricula can open up opportunities for grants for school projects and for educational materials. So for instance, in order to get a Green Schools grant, you need to be certified in Project Learning Tree. In order to get a Wild School Site grant, you need to be certified in Project Wild. It never hurts to have a Project Wet, Wild, or Learning Tree component to a project if you're applying for Ohio Environmental Education Fund grant. So grants look very favorably, grantors look very favorably on these certifications in curriculum. If your school would like to receive some savings on those stormwater bills that they get for your actual campus, you can check with the sewer district. We are an approved provider of environmental educational curriculum, stormwater education for those discount programs. So please contact me if you need more information about that program, and I'll direct you to the right people. And one of the biggest things we offer to our schools is connections. So as a division of the state, we have a lot of partners, federal, state, and local. We partner with the Ohio Department of Natural Resources and the Ohio Department of Agriculture, the National Resource Conservation Service, that's our federal partner for natural resources conservation, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, the National Park Service, lots of watershed groups. We have 3 of the watershed group watershed coordinators in our office, and then we partner directly as a part of the Central Lake Erie Basin Group or Club. We partner with many other ones that we can get your kids out to be a part of restoration, watershed restoration projects. So if that's something that interests you, we can help you make those connections. And even more, we have a lot of great partners in the area, and we would love to help you get the resources that you need. So with that, I want to thank you for listening to my presentation. Please give us a call and let us know how we can help you. If you have any questions about my presentation or our programs today, please contact me at jzevenbergen@cuyahogaswcd.org or just give me a call, 216-524-6580, extension 1006. Thank you.